You motherfucking too. I want to get in this. The big news. Floyd Mayweather signing with Showtime, 6-fight deal, 30 months, or whatever the case may be. Now, as far as the actual deal goes, I don't believe that he'll fight 6 fights. I think the deal was set up. It's either 6 fights or for 30 months, whichever one comes first. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. I don't, know the parameters necessarily of the deal, so I can't really speak on that too much. But about the move itself, do I like it? No, not really. For one, it shows me this further distance and alliance with this top-ranked Golden Boy feud, because what I see going on here is all of Golden Boy business is going to Showtime now. And apparently, all the top-ranked business is going to HBO. Now, over the years, we've all, especially here on YouTube, we all kind of concluded that HBO always had the big bucks. They always had the most money to spend on boxing. Either that has changed, or for some odd reason, Floyd Mayweather chose to turn down a little more money to go to Showtime. I don't know which one it is, but something apparently has changed. Why he went to Showtime, the only thing I could think of is his alliance with Golden Boy. I don't necessarily think it was a good move, because I always thought that HBO had the bigger stars, but for competitive boxing, for the real hardcore boxing fans, I always went to Showtime for the better fights. And for some reason, HBO just had the bigger stars, the mega events. You know what I mean? The get together with your homeboy pay-per-views. That was always HBO. But for real boxing, real fights, and real competitive boxing, I always went to Showtime. I always thought that I went to Showtime. So me and myself, I don't really necessarily like the move. And it only furthers my opinion of why I don't think that Floyd Mayweather won't be in my top 10 greatest fighters of all time. Because this whole generation of boxing, none of these motherfuckers could be in my top 10. Because of this whole feud, this whole shit. Because when people talk about greatest baseball players of all time, shit like that, Babe Ruth will never be in my top 10 of all time. He never played against black players, It was never even an option. And that's the same shit now with this Golden Boy top rank shit. So none of these motherfuckers could be in my top 10 because it's too many good fighters that they haven't and won't fight because of this bullshit. So I know that every fighter can't fight every fight. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. But when you got a whole slew of motherfuckers you didn't fight, it's bad enough that a motherfucker can avoid a fighter because, I don't like that nigga because I can't fight him because he wear dreads, or that nigga got bad breath, or he got underarm hair. I ain't fighting him. It's bad enough that they can use whatever excuse they can fucking come up with. But when they already have a built-in reason to not fight a whole group of motherfuckers, not including the motherfuckers that they already make reasons not to fight, how the fuck can I put any of these people as the greatest of all time in boxing? It just can't. I can't do it. Whoever else can do whatever the fuck they want to do. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it though. That's the reason I haven't even been making videos, man. This shit's so watered down. It ain't even shit to talk about. You mean to tell me the biggest news in boxing is a motherfucker signing a deal with a particular network? And that's the biggest news in boxing? Really? Wow. That just lets you know how bad the shit is. That the biggest news in boxing is a motherfucker signing a deal with a particular network. I don't know. I always hear Lucas Matisse's name getting thrown around with different fights and shit, but see, this generation of boxing, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always about, it's so top heavy and it's so money motivated that none of these motherfuckers could be in my top 10 right now, because we all know that some of the best fighters don't generate the most money. And some of the motherfuckers who generate the most money aren't necessarily the best fighters. But it is what it is. So if you chasing the dollars and not legacy, then, make the claim to be a filthy rich motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Whoever it is, if it's, Floyd or Kell Brook or Khan, you know what I'm saying? If you're pulling in money, that's cool. But if you avoid the best fighters in pursuit of the biggest purses, then don't come with the legacy shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't come with the best of all time or the best of this generation, the best of this era, or the best of this division. Because it's too much avoiding the top competition in boxing right now. And for whatever reason, I don't give a fuck what the reason is, because this nigga don't generate enough money, or this nigga's with the wrong promotional company, or this nigga fight on the wrong network. It's too much of that shit for me to put any of these motherfuckers in my top 10. Period. That's my, I just can't do that shit. It's just too much of that shit going on. And as much as we can talk about Floyd being one of the highest paid athletes and this, that, and the third and all of that shit, it's so fucking ridiculous, because every fucking year you go down the list of top 10 paid athletes. Every year there's a boxer in there. Mike Tyson or Evander Holyfield, Oscar De La Hoya, Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? Just go do your history. A fucking boxer was always in that realm, and a couple of times they did top out as the highest paid athlete. You know what I'm saying? And believe it or not, even back in the day when Joe Louis was the motherfucking man, this nigga was consistently making way more money than all of the other athletes in all of the other sports. Don't just go check the books, check the records, So at a time where motherfuckers getting paid tens of millions of dollars to endorse shoes and telephones and macaroni and cheese and Kool-Aid and pop, and they make all this money, it's cool. But at the same token, there's never been an event like a live boxing event. So a fighter being paid the most money is not unprecedented. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing that fucks me up with people who talk about Floyd Mayweather like this is the first time that this shit has ever happened. You know what I'm saying? And it hasn't. It's not. That's not the case. You know what I mean? So, in all actuality, I think that this generation of boxing will be remembered as the generation of avoiding fighters, the avoiding generation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's too many. It's always a reason why some fighter shouldn't fight another fighter. It's always, all we talk about is the reason why some fights don't happen. That's this whole era of boxing. You know what I'm saying? And you can get a guy like Adrian Broner. I'm going to give him props for fighting regularly and fighting who he's fighting. You know what I'm saying? He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's doing what he got to do. But in reality, he hasn't had a fight where you thought he'd lose. He hasn't had a fight where you thought he might be in danger of having a tough fight. Or at least not recently. So, I mean, if that's, we talking about a guy who really don't have a real name on his resume. And like, that's who we pubbing. That's who we hyping up. That's who we talking about. all of these motherfuckers, man. I remember just listening to 78 and Blood, and he was talking about Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia on his resume pretty much has old ass Eric Morales and Amir Khan. And I mean, like, and he's the top dog at 140 pounds? Really? All these motherfuckers at 140 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Just think about this shit. We've already built in an excuse for Adrian Broner and Danny Garcia not to fight. That's already put, it's already, disclaimer is already there. So even taking away the mega fight that could potentially happen with them two, there is no Lucas Matisse on his resume or horizon. I haven't heard talks about a rematch with Amir Khan yet. He hasn't fought Hank Lundy, which could be, you know what I'm saying, a tough opponent. Not really a big name, but, you know, if you just want to throw some names in there. He hasn't fought a Jose Alucinagen. Fucking Tim Bradley, Brandon Rios, Richard Abreu. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happened to Miguel Acosta? He only had, I think he only got 2 L's on his record. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I want to try and let me look that up on BoxRec. But I think Miguel Acosta only has 2 L's on his record. And one was to Brandon Rios, and it's a classic fight. I just don't, this generation of boxing, man, this shit fucking kills me. Man, I don't even see how this shit makes my stomach hurt. And I love boxing. Y'all niggas know I love boxing. But this generation, this shit fucking sucks.